So, Attila, whenever you are ready, you can do your opening statement.
Okay, sure thing. First of all, thank you, Erika, for organizing this. I'm really grateful for opportunities where I can shed some light on this initiative, because some of our arguments might seem difficult to understand sometimes, and some of the terminology we use. So I'm very much open for any questions you might have to clarify them. And I also don't want to have a too long presentation, because the main thing here, the main goal would be for you to recognize the very own interest of Catalonia in this case. That's the title of this meeting. Support for the ECI on national regions / the interest of Catalonia. And the reason why we chose this title is quite simply because we actually believe that it represents the genuine interest of Catalonia to assist us in having success with this initiative. So we're not just talking about, we know we have a lot of solidarity from our Catalan friends, but we believe that the objectives of this ECI go way beyond the boundaries of solidarity. It's your very own interest to try and assist us in being successful with the initiative. Now, if you visit the official homepage, which is nationalregions.eu, and you look at the wording of the initiative as we submitted it to the European Commission, then you can actually recreate our own goals, the main goal, in one sentence. And that's the following: the cohesion policy of the European Union should pay special attention to national regions. Now, under national regions, we refer to areas with national, cultural, linguistic characteristics that are different from those of the surrounding areas. Now, I know that this might be a point that needs some clarification, because I know for a fact that Catalans do not consider Catalonia to be a region. You characterize yourselves as peoples, or as a country, or as a nation, and that's perfectly all right with us. The thing is, when we came up with the idea of having this broad cooperation among stateless nations and peoples, this was the most neutral term we were able to come up with. Because if you see, there are many different communities with different situations and aspirations. You have Szeklerland, my region, which doesn't even have any kind of autonomy. You would have regions like Flanders or Catalonia, which would like to have their own independent state. And you have other communities like, for example, the Irish communities in the Gaeltacht, which are very much struggling even to maintain their own language. But we wanted to create an umbrella term that fits all of these peoples and stateless nations. And this new umbrella term is the national region. Now, one of the things we were already successful with is inserting this new term into the acquis communautaire, into the EU law. Because you might know that we had to go through a 6-year-long legal struggle to get this initiative registered by the European Commission in the first place. So actually, we submitted this initiative way back in 2013. So as you can imagine, and you know for yourself, that the European Commission is not particularly enthusiastic when he has to deal with stateless nations. It's a hot potato for them. They don't want to have to do anything about it. They just want to push the whole thing away as far as possible. But we were resilient, we won the case. And so now we have this very good new term that's inside the EU law. And now it's our job to fill it up with the content we prefer. To try to outline for you the Catalan interest, I will categorize my my presentation in 4 brief bullet points. Recognition, equality, language, and I left the most important for the last, and that is influence. So let's start with the issue of recognition. We want to achieve legal personality for national regions within community law. If we succeed with this endeavor, then national regions would have a new set of legal and legitimate tools to channel their own national aspirations directly into the decision-making bodies of the European Union. But for that to happen, these areas need recognition first. Especially due to the fact that there are certain national regions that span internal administrative units or even state borders. So again, for example, my region, Szeklerland, is divided into 3 different administrative units as part of the classic divide et impera tactics of Romania. But if you look at your own situation, you have the Països Catalans, just as our Basque friends refer to Euskal Herria. These both are cross-border national regions, because the Països Catalans includes, as you very well know, Catalan areas in southern France, Catalonia proper, but also Valencia and the Balearic Islands. Just as Euskal Herria includes the Basque territories of Iparralde in France and those of Egualde in Spain. So the success of our initiative could provide recognition for these national regions within EU law. And I think from your perspective, this would be a major step forward also for gaining recognition for the Catalan nation as such in the EU. So this is bullet point number 1, recognition. Bullet point number 2, equality. And here I would like to make some references to our specific situation, so you can see the context. There was a very rather unfortunate practice of Romanian governments to economically discriminate against the secular community. That was one of our main inspirations and motivations to start this initiative. So what happens is that the central governments, Romanian central governments, they only transfer a disproportionately low amount of EU funds to areas inhabited predominantly by the secular community relative to areas populated by the Romanian ethnic majority. Now, as a consequence, the economic gap between secular and Romanian territories has been widening ever since Romania joined the European Union in 2007. Now, this practice, while it of course manifestly violates the law of the EU, is not isolated. Also, other countries like Slovakia or Greece are doing this too. What does this mean to Catalan citizens of the EU? While I'm very much aware that you also have your own disputes in Spain about the distribution and the utilization of EU funds. And on the other hand, Catalonia actually pays heavy amounts of money each year into the budget of the EU, some of which is eventually transferred to Romania, hopefully to increase economic, social, and territorial cohesion. However, Romania does not necessarily use the money of Catalan taxpayers to reduce regional disparities in economic development, but rather to implement economic discrimination targeted against seculars and other minorities. And of course, the underlying expectation of such practices that the local population will eventually react to economic hardship by wandering away, and the country can get closer to forming an ethnically homogeneous nation state. So the most basic expectation we as organizers have vis-a-vis the legal act we wish to achieve if we are successful is to have proper legal barriers within EU law to prevent EU funds being utilized in a discriminatory manner to the detriment of traditional national communities, peoples, and stateless nations. So the approach from an economic point of view, the approach we would like the EU to incorporate is that economic development should go hand in hand with preserving the cultural landscape of a given area. And that's a mindset that unfortunately EU decision makers do not have at all. And we think that the best possible way to implement this, the best possible way to implement the special attention we require for national regions is to empower these local communities so that they will be able to make their own decisions for themselves. So that's the equality part of the initiative. What about language? Apart from these issues, we also want this initiative to address the issue of languages going extinct. For example, Irish, Breton, or Sami languages. There are a whole range. I think that in the UNESCO's Atlas of Endangered Languages, the last time I checked, it was over 100 endangered languages, even within the European Union. And that's a really high number. And unfortunately, the EU does absolutely nothing to assist these communities in their struggle to maintain their language, even though it is an obligation of the Union under the founding treaties to preserve the cultural and linguistic diversity of the EU through affirmative action. So we as organizers of the initiative are convinced that the language of national regions should be recognized as official languages of the EU, Catalan included. And obviously this is one of the elements why some organizations that work for Catalan linguistic rights, like for example, Plataforma per la Llengua, they're also supporting us because I know a lot of advocacy groups and NGOs who've been working for this goal for several years. And we are on the opinion that languages like Catalan, Basque, Breton, they are in no way second-grade languages relative to Castilian or French. And they should be treated equally also within the legal system of the EU. So all in all, Catalan should become an official language of the EU. And if we manage again to succeed with the collection of signatures, then it is up to us to decide the content of the bill we would like to present to the European Commission during the public hearing, which they are obliged to organize to all successful initiatives. So this is bullet point number 3, and the most important and fourth part is about influence. Now, if you visit the official website of the initiative, which also has a Catalan version, regionsnacionals.eu, you will see the following title on the opening page: European Movement for Protecting National Regions. And the importance of this movement it certainly goes beyond the signature collection process itself. However, it's a very crucial element thereof. So we said it many times publicly that national regions united are a formidable power in the European Union. and we aim to make this visible, this power. Now, some final arguments why it serves the interest of Catalonia to assist us is quite simple. This initiative provides Catalonia the opportunity to increase her influence in European politics. You could use the platform this initiative provides to promote your own interest in the European public discourse. So we can say that the floor is pretty much yours to use and further develop the network behind this initiative for your own sake. Catalans actually could become a leading force in this process. I mean, you are big enough, you are well organized, and you have an indisputable respect and prestige among stateless nations across the continent. So here is a chance to transform your own national aspirations into a European issue with the help of other stateless nations. Now, this is an opportunity that most Catalans do not see yet, and which is the reason why Catalonia did not yet manage to utilize the potentials of this initiative for her own sake. Fortunately, the organizer of this public Zoom meeting, Erika Casajoana, is among those who actually recognize this very crucial factor. As a matter of fact, she wrote an excellent opinion piece about this to La Repubblica. It was published a few weeks ago, and it was called Achtung, España fa implosio. And I would recommend all of you to read this particular article because it's brilliant. It has one particular paragraph which is so good and so on point that I will try to read it out for you in Catalan. Now, I don't speak the language, so my apologies for my terrible pronunciation. So the quote goes something like this. Sovint no som conscients de l'ascendència que té Catalunya entre les comunitats sense estat. Per tota Europa, les nacions oprimides veuen en nosaltres un referent. Fer-los costat té tot el sentit com la minoria nacional oprimida, que malauradament encara som, i també des del punt de vista de la solidaritat i de l'establiment de xarxes de cooperació. No ens sobren aliats internacionals. Again, sorry for my probably terrible pronunciation. I hope you were able to understand at least some of it.
Yeah, very well.
Okay, excellent. So the main point is that Catalonia is a point of reference for stateless nations across Europe. And it is exactly these stateless nations and peoples that are your best friends when it comes to supporting Catalan self-determination. And for that reason, I very much thank Erika for these important lines. I leave it for further elaboration up to her to come back to this very important idea. As for now, I give back the floor to her. But of course, I'm very much open to answer any questions you might have at this time.
Yes. Attila.
Un moment, Pere Jordi. We will first make two statements, Attila and me. Unfortunately, Aleix couldn't be with us tonight. And then we will open the floor to questions. I will be brief because you, among Catalans, you already know what have been our main arguments to make the promotion of this European initiative. Attila, I'm going to switch to Catalan,
Okay.
But Zahra has been kind enough. She says she will write on the chat the main points of what I say in Catalan. L'Attila té tota la raó per Catalunya és una evidència que allà on les minories europees reclamen atenció, reclamen ajuda, nosaltres hi hem de ser, perquè precisament com que sempre hem xocat, i especialment en els últims anys, amb aquesta solidaritat entre estats, que tots sota el radar tothom es queixa d'Espanya, però en públic tothom es posa del costat d'Espanya. I ens hem trobat amb moltes portes tancades i ens les seguim trobant. Quan l'Attila explicava que la Romania inverteix poc a les zones on hi ha una majoria d'hongaresos, tot això a nosaltres ens sona al pa de cada dia. Patim un espoli fiscal de més de 16.000 milions anuals. És cert que el Principat de Catalunya té estatus de regió i pot interlocutar amb la Comissió Europea quant als fons estructurals. O sigui que imaginem-nos com s'han de sentir els Szeklers a dins de Romania quan no tenen ni tan sols l'autonomia. O sigui, és que fins i tot Romania fa servir els diners d'Europa per discriminar i empitjorar la situació dels Szeklers. Estem molt a prop de patir una situació molt similar amb els fons per la recuperació de la Covid i de resiliència. El primer ministre Pedro Sánchez es pensa que els milers de milions d'Europa no només són de l'estat espanyol, sinó que són de la Moncloa i ha centralitzat completament la gestió d'aquests fons i tothom haurà de fer cua i signar convenis marcs amb els ministeris i, evidentment, ja sabem com van les coses a Espanya, que Pedro Sánchez en aquests mesos de pandèmia només s'ha reunit amb les empreses de l'IBEX. I a Catalunya el que impera és el teixit de la petita i mitjana empresa. O sigui que ja ens veiem a venir que la pertinença a Europa no només no ens servirà per sortir de l'opressió, sinó que agreujarà aquesta discriminació i és com si li donessin un dòping a l'estat espanyol per encara discriminar-nos més. El lideratge de Catalunya amb les nacions sense estat és una cosa que la venim notant des de fa temps. Entre nosaltres tenim la Marga Paiola, que representa la Plataforma per la Llengua. La Plataforma per la Llengua és membre de la Federació Europea de Minories. Hi ha algú que té el micròfon connectat i està fent soroll. I en els congressos de la FUEN es veu clarament com les nacions sense estat miren a Catalunya i veuen un referent. A nosaltres ens pot semblar que la nostra situació és molt fotuda, però per moltes minories i nacions sense estat, Europa és una situació en la que voldrien estar. I jo recordo molt les paraules d'un eurodiputat del Tirol del Sud, que en un congrés de FUEN, en el que vaig tenir l'honor de representar l'Assemblea Nacional Catalana, va dir: mirem a Catalunya perquè si Catalunya no se n'en surt, si Catalunya no aguanta la repressió que està patint i aquests intents per part de l'Estat d'acabar amb les seves aspiracions nacionals, els altres no tenim cap possibilitat. Cap possibilitat. I en aquests moments la situació de les minories, sobretot a Romania, és molt difícil, perquè Romania es veu a si mateixa com una petita França i aplica el model francès, jacobí, d'uniformitzador i amb molt ressentiment cap a Hongria, perquè hi va haver una època en què els hongaresos eren els que manaven sobre ells i ara que s'ha girat la truita doncs hi ha com una mala maror i uns mals sentiments que evidentment no ajuden a que tots convisquin plàcidament i a construir una Europa diversa i en què tots ens col·laborem entre nacions. Per nosaltres ajudar les minories europees és superevident i a més, tinguem en compte que és l'estratègia, com a mínim, que ha adoptat l'exili. L'exili per aconseguir que Europa finalment faci alguna cosa, perquè per alguna raó hi ha l'article 2 que diu que Europa defensarà la democràcia i els drets humans, compresos els drets de les persones pertanyents a una minoria. estem patint una ofensiva terrible a tots nivells, amb gairebé ens acostem als 3.000 represaliats, i tots tenen en comú que o són catalans o són independentistes o han donat suport a la causa independentista, com per exemple el noi que viu a Madrid, Dani Gallardo, que porta més d'un any de presó preventiva només per anar a una manifestació de solidaritat amb Catalunya. Ajudem la iniciativa. Malauradament ens n'hem assabentat tard. Està molt difícil per arribar al llindar, però som l'estat espanyol, de tots els estats d'Europa, és on hi ha més signatures entre els que no són amb població hongaresa, i això ens ha de fer sentir orgullosos perquè realment s'ha notat molt que Catalunya ha estirat del carro i que han aconseguit milers de signatures. S'hi han implicat des d'Esquerra Republicana, Junts per Catalunya, l'Assemblea Nacional Catalana, Òmnium, el Consell per la República, s'hi han implicat. Hem començat tard, potser no hi arribarem, però està clar que farem tot l'esforç que puguem i estarem encantats de contestar les vostres preguntes. Moltes gràcies.
Attila, I have two questions. The first one concerns to coordinate the actions of the different nations in Europe, or minorities in Europe, in order to have the force and the representation they should have. But how you will coordinate that? One thing is how this is materially done. Can you explain that?
I'm not sure if I understood what the question is.
Yes,
about.
how we get into which power we will have in front of the European institutions. How we will do that to this force? How it will be exerted?
Yes, indeed. First of all, we need to be successful with the signature collection itself. Once that's done, then the whole initiative will go into a very different level. May I say, will enter the Brussels bubble. Okay, so the whole issue will enter the institutional system of the European Union. And of course, we don't need to wait that out passively. The first thing we would like to do once we are successful with the signature collection is to put together an international conference, a meeting, to all those who actually supported us actively, who helped us to achieve our common goals. And I think that would be the first step, where these very different people who now work actually parallel one another. And it is maybe us organizers who know everybody, but these people do not know each other yet necessarily. So that would be the first step to get you guys closer to each other. So the idea is to build up a network between these particular nations, communities, and the organizations representing them. That's certainly the direction we would take this. And of course, this is where everybody counts, that Catalans and Catalan organizations could take a leading role. Because as I mentioned, you are a formidable force in yourself. So I think it's for the benefit of Catalonia if you can channel sources around you and to build up your own international prestige. Because, for example, we had some of our members who were prosecuted in Romania for waving a Catalan flag in public gatherings. And you have many of these kind of manifestations of solidarity, and I can't really see that Catalans actually try to tip into it and try to utilize these resources. Even though if you have these many peoples on your side, you should be able to harvest this also for your own national interest and your own and to furthering your national agenda on the international level, because certainly that's what you need right now, also for your self-determination aspirations.
Okay.
You have international support, and we are here for you.
Okay. But the second question I have, Attila, doesn't concern really Catalonia. It concerns more Flanders, and that's because I can help you in Flanders. And maybe you could do some kind of streaming conference, like you have done that, but with a broader public in Flanders. And I will try to talk to Hilda to do that. Would you like to do that? Or are you in talks already with Hilda?
Absolutely, I'm all for it. Let's do it.
I think it's very important.
Okay. Sure. I mean, so the main thing is that what we are trying to do, and this is why these kind of meetings are good, is because, as I said, we want other communities to see their own interest in that. That's the best possible way to mobilize.
Okay.
And this is why it will be very important to do a similar meeting and for us to explain to the Flemish people why this is also in their interest. So,
do you have any idea what are the numbers at this moment? For
you can. So if you go to the official homepage, regionsnacionals.eu, and if you click on the support button, then the system transfers you to the signature collection site, which is directly administered by the European Commission, and it runs from their servers from Luxembourg. And if you click there, you can see the signatures pouring in real time. Okay, so if it's in front of you, let's do it. So it's regionsnacionals.eu.
Can you share the screen, Attila?
Yeah, if you go to this, first find your screen, and then there on you can share it.
Well, I never did that, but I will try. So let's.
But if I was you, I will first find the screen you want to show us, and then.
Yeah, I already found it, but how can I share it?
Well, you have a green button down at the bottom of your screen. There it says share screen.
Host disabled participant screen sharing.
Yeah. I think you have to agree or something like that.
Oh, okay, now it should be good.
I allowed it now.
Okay. So do you see this?
No.
Yes.
Not yet.
I see it.
Okay.
I do also.
Where?
Okay, so this is the opening of the. Let's go to the Catalan version. We made a little tailor-made part here for our Catalan friends. So this 3 brief paragraphs, it basically summarizes some of the ideas I've been telling you. So if you click on this button, Need no Support, then it will transfer you to this page. And this is what I said. This is the signature collection page. This is where you actually need to select the country, and then the corresponding form pops up. You give in your personal details. You give in the captcha code, accept the data privacy box, and then click on support, and that's it. And then if you scroll down on the left-hand side, you will see the wait. I will switch. It's currently in Hungarian. I will switch to English. There it is. Yeah. So you can see here the last couple of signatures. They poured in from Spain, Latvia, Croatia, Slovenia, and Romania. And you see these pie charts as well. If you click here to view all countries, then a map pops up.
Yeah.
Okay, and as you can see, here are the 3 countries where we already managed to surpass the national minimum threshold, because it's important to know about the legal institution itself that you need to surpass 2 hurdles. First of all, you need to collect 1 million signatures, but you also have a geographical hurdle, because you need to surpass a certain minimum level in at least 7 member states of the EU. And that certain minimum level is based on the overall population of that particular country. So in Germany, you can see it's 72,000 threshold. So it's huge, because obviously Germany has the largest population in the EU. But if you go to Slovenia, for example, there you only need to collect 6,000. And we only have almost a quarter of it.
Okay.
Also 15% from Croatia. We have 45% from Spain. This is where I hope that by the end of 7th of November, we will see a thick, juicy 100%, in which case Spain will also turn green, just as you can see now in Spain, Romania, and Slovakia. Or you can see we are making some progress in Ireland as well. Sweden is also very good with 42%. And then Belgium is getting there to reach 20%. So that means that you can see that we collected 2,783 statements of support so far. And the threshold in Belgium is 15,750. And again, the deadline is 7th of November, 2020. So we are in the last week of campaigning. And of course, needless to say, the pandemic pretty much narrows down our possibilities. So you are not able to collect on paper forms. You cannot do larger international travels. You cannot do larger gatherings. If you want to get this topic into the news, into the media, it's excruciatingly hard because basically every news outlet across Europe is about, first and foremost, the coronavirus topic. So it's increasingly difficult, but I can only encourage you to also look for our platforms on social media. So on Facebook, you will find us under the name Citizens Initiative for National Regions. And on Twitter and Instagram, you should type in national regions to find us. I think, and I hope that you will find content that represents your preferences. So I would kindly ask all of you to share or retweet content and to say a few words of your own to encourage your own followers to please sign the initiative, because time is really against us.
¿Més preguntes? We would have loved to have you in Catalonia, giving a conference or traveling around, but as you say, Corona has made it impossible. Even in Brussels, we would have liked to have you.
It would have been so nice.
Yeah, and this everything by streaming and online. It's people also are a bit saturated with all of this. It's very difficult, as you say. On top of it, this month of October, we have had so many things going on: anniversaries, judicial decisions, arrests, demonstrations. a huge health crisis. So it's been even today. Today is the 3rd year anniversary of the imprisonment of the Catalan government.
Yep.
Today, so it's extremely difficult.
And I can only say on behalf of the organizers that we wish you all the best of luck with your aspirations. Some of our, even though our communities have gone through very different things, there are many similarities as well. So, for example, it's a very, very grim parallel feature between Spain and Romania, that these are the two countries currently in the European Union which still have political prisoners. Because in fact, in Romania, you had two Szekler youngsters, Beka István and Szűcs Zoltán, who were subject to a politically motivated show trial, and they were sentenced to 5 years imprisonment on totally false terrorism charges. And of course, in your case, you have 9 civil and political leaders behind bars. And unfortunately, one of the other things is it was puzzling for me back in 2017 to see the general silence of Europe when it came to Catalonia. So you had 2 heads of governments who said at least something about the excessive police violence. And those were Charles Michel from Belgium and Miro Cerar from Slovenia. And that was it. And so another thing we hope to achieve with this movement and with this initiative, we hope that we can magnify each other's voices within the international community, because we don't really have that many allies. We need to be able to rely on each other in supporting each other's aspirations.
Absolutely. There is a question I have for you, Attila.
Okay.
If this initiative fails for so little, just a few thousand signatures missing in a couple of countries, because Croatia, Slovenia, it's really a few thousand, Ireland, would the initiative still ask the Commission to do something about it? Because the initiative has already over 1 million signatures.
Yeah,
that means that there is a political problem, and the Commission would be advised not to ignore this political problem just because you are missing a few signatures here and there. What is the plan B if this threshold would not be achieved? What would be the plan B?
It is my understanding that you're also pretty good with campaigns, Erika. So you very well know that right now at this point, it will be suicidal to talk about plan Bs. What I can assure you of, however, is that in the unlikely event that this happens, we will certainly not give up on the aspirations. We will certainly not give up all those new magnificent connections we made, and I can tell you for a fact that even if we do not manage to surpass the geographical hurdle, there are plenty of opportunities to take forward this movement, also politically as well as legally. I'm afraid as much as I can share with you right now at this moment.
Yeah, we certainly will be there. And I can tell you one thing, the situation of the Szeklers is now much better known in our country than before the initiatives, because I personally had no idea of the harshness of your situation. I had no idea whatsoever.
Yes, indeed. And we are a region. Yeah. We are a lesser known region, indeed, and it really satisfies us that we were able to shed some more light on our peculiar situation, because now we feel that also our para-diplomacy, our sub-state diplomacy that we are doing, and our international advocacy work will be more easier now that more and more people know us. So we are really glad for that result indeed.
And the minority safe pack, does it help the Zeklers in any way? This other European Citizens Initiative that is now entering the final phase. It has already had a hearing at the European Parliament, and if the Commission decides to take it up and legislate about it, in what way would it benefit the Zeklers?
Well, we wish all the best of luck for the Safe Pack team. They did a tremendous job with collecting 1.2 million signatures from 11 countries, I guess so. And yes, they had a public hearing on the 15th of October. We wish them Godspeed and all the best of luck, because I mean, so far, this legal institution is almost 10 years old. You had 6 successful initiatives, but no actual legislation, which is preposterous. So the question is quite difficult to answer in the sense that the Safe Pack, it was a set of propositions on how to bring minority rights a bit closer to EU law, and how to make legislation that will be beneficial for national minorities. So I think it will be a huge round of negotiations now with the Commission and others to see which elements of those 9 points they are able to push through the system. So that's this is why it's a difficult. I mean, for example, I mean, it would be very good if one of the objectives was to have a center for regional diversity in Brussels, and we are all for it, because that could possibly grant some additional programs that you could use for maintaining your language and culture in your own homeland, that could be used to promote your minority language. But it's really difficult to say how the whole thing turns out. But all in all, we wish them all the best of luck. And the interesting thing, and you can see how bad the situation for Zeklers is, and for the Hungarian community of Transylvania in general, is that both these initiatives came from the same community, the idea of it. So there's something awfully wrong in Romania. They, of course, hate to admit it. They usually say in diplomatic circles that Romania is a best practice country, which really solved its own national minority problems. But the actual truth couldn't be further away from this alternative parallel reality they are trying to build up.
Alguna pregunta més dels participants? So I think we are perfectly on time. We said the session would finish at 8. You gave us great insights, Attila. I hope we can use these recordings, and I'm sure many Catalans would be moved by some of your words. And again, it's a pity that we didn't start earlier. I hope the Commission maybe will take into account all the difficulties of Corona to maybe give an extension to the deadline. That would be wonderful, because we are really very close.
Yep.
And we thank you for your time, and
thank you. We are
very happy to have known about you, and we show our solidarity, and we keep working on the signatures from now until the 7th.
Many thanks. I really appreciate it.
Attila.
And, thanks to everyone. Thanks to everyone that participated. Thanks very much.
Thanks to you. Thanks to you. Attila, we will keep in touch for here in Flanders.
Okay, sure thing. Let's do it.
Bye.
Bye.
Moltes gràcies a tothom.